Welcome back to the Pro Sports Podcasters on YouTube. My name is Cobe. Most of you know me as Kobe. And today I want to take a look at NFL All Day and specifically this crazy market bump we've seen over the last 48 hours. Market activity has gone up by 90%. And what's caused it? Now, it's obvious, right? It's the blog post they released just recently that talks about what's coming up on NFL All Day. And it's got nothing to do with the pack releases that are coming up. It's got nothing to do with what challenges may be happening. It has everything to do with what they said about common moments. And that's any common moment that currently exists. They are not going to release more common moments for that player for Series 1. And that is huge, right? That is massive. There are a few players that already have multiple common moments on the platform. And these are specifically players who are involved in either the Super Wildcard Weekend, Divisional Round, Conference Championships, or Super Bowl championship sets that came out. I'm thinking Stephon Diggs fits in that category, Joe Mixon, Matt Stafford. They have multiple commons. They will have a common that's maybe a base set common, as well as a common from one of those, subsets that came out during the playoffs last season. But outside of that, the majority of the players on the platform have a common, and that's it. And as long as they have one, they can't have any more. So when you look at a player like, say, Randy Gregory is part of the He Called Game series. And it's only minted to 6,000, and he's a common, so that's it. That's the only Randy Gregory you're going to have. Which means if later on this year we have challenges and they involve Randy Gregory, no matter what you've paid for Randy Gregory now, you don't have to worry about there being some other common released before the season begins that someone could use instead of what you have to fulfill that challenge. And why that's key is because some of the commons on the platform aren't cheap, right? They're not. I imagine if you're somebody who paid up for, say, one of the rookie commons, right? Russell Wilson, for instance, he's around $70 for the Russell Wilson common debut moment. Now, granted, it's a debut, so you have that additional bonus, but if the debut badge doesn't matter when it comes to a challenge, it's going to piss you off a lot if they were to release a second Russell Wilson common moment before the beginning of the season that's only going for, say, $20 or $30. So then whatever you paid for yours is not going to really return its value when the challenges come around, because people will look for the cheapest moment possible to fulfill that challenge. And that would be, of course, the second one that was released that wasn't the debut moment. But now you don't have to worry about that. Russell's got his Series 1 debut common moment, so that's it. Done. Right? There are no more. Once you've got one, you're set. If you have multiple, then you're set up to sell them at a premium when he becomes a factor in the challenge, which is going to happen. It's Russell Wilson, right? And that goes the same for every star player that's out there that has a common moment. Right now, that's it. So what you're seeing is people were investing in rares because Top Shot did not have this same sort of exclusivity when it came to commons. There are some collections within Top Shot that you pick a player and there's, 4 or 5 different commons available for that player from the same series. So if you were that person who went and spent up on the first one, you felt kind of ripped off by the time the third one came out and it was, a fourth of the price of what you paid for yours, but both of them can complete the same challenge. That's not going to happen here. So what they did in Top Shot to kind of combat that, right, to keep the community somewhat happy is they started adding those rare stipulations to some of the challenges where it was like, let's say the top 10 players for free throw percentage that day, or who scored the most free throws that particular day, at least 2 of them had to be rares as part of the challenge collection you put together. And that way, it really didn't matter if you had the cheapest common or the most expensive common to fulfill the set. The real bottleneck, the real, linchpin when it came to that challenge were the rares. And a lot of people on the NFL All Day platform have been thinking that way. So they've been chasing after some of the key rares that are available on the platform right now, not realizing that it's not going to matter. To be entirely honest with you, commons may be even more exclusive than rares come challenge time, because they said nothing about not duplicating rares or legendaries. Just because a player has a rare on the platform doesn't mean it can't have another one, or another one beyond that. All they guaranteed you is that if they have a common on the platform, they won't produce another common for that particular player. So that common then becomes probably more of a bottleneck than even the rares that are available. So people are snatching them up right now. Just as rares were slowly creeping up over time, the commons are now creeping up at an alarming rate, because everyone wants to get them before everyone else clues in. I've already bought a few. My wife bought a few, right? There's a bunch that we had kind of on a list as targets that we decided, well, with this news, we better go ahead and get them now, because if we don't, they're probably going to go up in value when we decide maybe it's time. So we just went ahead and got the ones we needed. But I'm feeling like I hit the lottery, because I've been collecting key commons that are both fantasy or challenge relevant from the very beginning. That's been my strategy, right? My collection isn't, a makeup of, say, 50 different players and then multiples of certain players, like a lot of collections are. My collection has something like 160 different players with the odd duplicate here and there, because I'm looking more to complete challenges and win at fantasy than I am at basically having the right lynch player at the right time to sell those off in the moment to make a profit. I'm looking to profit off what I win in challenges and what I win in fantasy, provided that those types of, bonuses get implemented, that kind of utility actually comes to effect. But with what they said in the blog, it looks like that's going to be the case. So right now, if you have any particular players that you're a huge fan of, if there's any commons that you were kind of humming and hawing about, it's time. It's time to get them. They're going to keep going up over the rest of this week. You're going to see a level off at the end of the week, because, of course, we've got the next pack drop. They're doing the replay of the Super Wildcard weekend pack, which is not great, but not bad either. You've got about a 1 in 6 chance of breaking even on a standard pack. Chances are you'll lose money on a premium pack unless you hit a legendary, but to each their own. People like to gamble. If you want to gamble, go ahead and buy that premium pack. I might actually be in on this one. I might actually buy a base pack, a standard pack on this one, because you got a 1 in 6 chance of breaking even. You could hit a rare and make a little on this one. So it's a little bit better than the last few, okay, when it comes right down to it. But when that pack comes around, guaranteed you're going to see prices level off, because there'll be a few people that will sell off some of the moments they've already accumulated. You might see actually quite a lot of rares dip in value now because of this announcement. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the rares drop right around the pack release time as people load their Dapper accounts in order to buy premium packs. So look for those, dips in the market to take advantage. But until then, if you have some commons that you've been thinking about, go ahead and get them. Now's the time, because they're going to start going up and up and up. And trust me, you're not going to lose money on them, because we're not going to see any real value, any real boost in value until the next season starts. Till next time.